Hello, my name is Zach, and today I will be conducting an experiment on different types of mixtures. My experiment is page 72 and 73 in my textbook. The question is, does water and oil mix? But first, let's go over what types of mixtures there are and ways to separate them. So a mixture is a combination of one or two or more things, and they can combine into make one substance. For example, putting salt into water. You mix it and then it becomes a mixture. Well, when you put sand in water, it still becomes a mixture, but it becomes a heterogeneous mixture. A type of mixture where the two things don't combine, kind of like our question, does oil and water mix? But like salt and water, it would be a homogeneous mixture, and you would not be able to see the particles because they have both mixed together. So ways of separating mixtures, I'm going to go over three. We have hand picking, which is kind of like doing the laundry. You can see the particles clearly and separate them. Filtration, kind of like filtering water, where you can put a cloth over a bucket and then dump water, and some of the big chunks will stay on top of the cloth. Then sieving and sifting, which is like gold panning, because you pick up a bunch of sand and then it'll have the big chunks still in. Okay, back to the experiment. So the ingredients for our experiment today are, you're gonna need a measuring cup with 1 cup of water, a glass jar with a lid, tablespoon, teaspoon, food coloring, vegetable oil, and some dish soap. But first, we're going to add the 1 cup of water to the jar. Like that. Second, we're going to need to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to our water. Then you're going to want to mix it with the cap on as tight as possible and observe what happens. Cut. When I first shook it, it got all cloudy and the oil separated to the top. If you can see that, there's bubbles at the top and it's indicating where the oil is going to be. And you can see it slowly appearing at the bottom. So yeah, we have a massive layer of oil and then the cloudy water at the bottom. So third, we're gonna have to add some food coloring to our oil and water mixture, preferably 3 drops. Then you're gonna wanna shake it again. If you can see, it looks kind of like 3 frozen water droplets inside the water or in the oil. Cut. Then fourth, you're gonna want to screw the cap on again tightly, and you're gonna want to shake it. Then let it settle for a couple minutes, and you're gonna want to observe what happens. As you can tell, it's become cloudy again, and it kind of looks like a strawberry smoothie. And you can see the oil is separating fast right there. It's got a little pinkish tone to it because we added the red dye. But yeah. When I shook it the second time, it all mixed and looked like it became a red slime. The top layer was all bubbly, and then the oil was in the middle. So, fifth, you're gonna want to add a teaspoon of dish soap to the mixture. As you can see, it kind of like separates the oil. and it looks like it kind of becomes its own substance inside the mixture. And lastly, what you're going to want to do is, again, screw on the cap tightly. And you're going to want to mix it one last time and watch what happens. When I shook it the third time, bubbles took up 75% of the jar. Then there was a layer of oil underneath the bubbles and above the water. And then there was the water with the food coloring on the bottom. I left it a bit longer and the lines became clearer. The lines of separation became clear between the water, the oil, and the bubbles. In conclusion, I found out that water and oil do not mix at all. That was the answer for a question at the beginning. But the water and food coloring do mix to become a red dyed water, and it is homogeneous. But the oil and water is also a mixture, a heterogeneous mixture as a matter of fact, where the components don't necessarily mix all the way, but it still becomes a mixture. And from the dish soap, it is a colloid of a gas in a liquid or a solid. So yeah, that's pretty much my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.